So let's talk about the concept of entrepreneurship because most of us, myself included, grew up in an environment where it was go to school, get a good job, retire after 40, 45 years, however long you're going to work there, live off of your retirement, all as well. Like entrepreneurship was not, at least for me and for many people watching this, it was not really up in the peripheral of what success looked like, right?
Right.
And so we have redefined success for ourselves. And you know that it's like my big thing is like, hey, if you have all of this experience and all of this education, you got to monetize that, like beyond just what other people tell you. And I'm not bashing 9 to 5 jobs. Like some people have them and that's great. And I love the work that they do there. But if you know that you're not supposed to be there, you have to allow yourself to explore other ways to monetize. And so for you, your journey into entrepreneurship was because you knew that there was something more that you should be doing. You were doing great work already in the organizations you were working in, but you knew that there were more people that needed your help. How did you take that leap for yourself?
Yeah. So actually, it was an interesting journey. Early on, I realized that I get bored very easily. I didn't know what that
Me
meant.
both. Yeah.
The context of work, I didn't know what that meant. And it's funny you asked that. This is the first time I think I thought back to this memory.
Mm,
I remember getting ready to apply for a job. This was a long time ago. And when I looked at my resume was not matching up with the narrative of what people wanted to hear. And the narrative was if you're somewhere less than 2 years, people aren't going to think that you're a good hire.
oh, sure.
Yeah, so I started looking at my resume and I started saying, dang, let me count up these years. Oh, I was there 2 years. And my life cycle for most of the positions that I held taught me right at about 2 years.
Mm,
Something was happening around that 2 year period
yeah.
where I was like, it's time to do something else. And I thought, oh, this is not going to go well for me because how am I going to be able to
Good job.
answer like that? Yeah, how am I going to be able to answer like why every 2 years
Mhm.
I'm switching? And I started saying, you know what? What's happening at these 2 year markers that tell me that it's time to go?
Mm,
Well, I feel like most companies and organizations don't do a really good job of keeping people engaged
mhm,
beyond their now I know this, right? Beyond their
mhm,
onboarding experience. And onboarding really is your first couple of years, right? And after
mhm,
that, they kind of like just let you go and do
mhm.
unless you're working for a really great company and then it doesn't happen like that.
Right.
So that happened. And the other thing that was happening was the way of work just wasn't working for me.
Mm,
I do not want to be here every day at 8 a.m. I do not want to stay here every day till 5 or 6. I do not want to like that is so mundane and
yeah.
not my vibe. Like I can't
Right.
I just wasn't doing well. So thankfully I've been blessed to always have, or maybe it was me choosing,
Mm,
opportunities where my work schedule was designed by me. Or I don't know if they always meant for it to be that way, but I would kind of design it. Some days I come in at 10, some days I come in at 7 a.m.
mm.
But that worked for me, and I need to
Yeah.
be able to work in different places. I need to be able to work in the office one day, at the beach another,
Right.
and but I never talked about this openly because that was just not the way of work, and I'm talking
Mm-mm.
25 years ago, and
Yeah.
I wasn't, like, being out of integrity, so I wasn't lying or stealing time or doing any of that. I just had to find a way to be my most productive self, and I started to find that this was not possible for me
Mm,
in traditional organizations,
mhm.
and I tried. And so
And
I
you
remember
tried.
that pivotal point where I was at that actually this time I had stayed 5 years. And I, went to another organization, because I'd had my daughter and I stayed there.
Mhm.
But I told them going in, I'm not gonna stay here forever because
Mm,
at some point I'm gonna want more than what
yeah.
I know the position can give me. But right now my priority is raising my children.
Mm.
And so when I got to that point, I had a conversation and I gave them a year resignation.
Like, I will leave in a year.
Right, and you see how you're laughing? They laughed because
Yeah.
nobody does that. Like, I am not
Right.
gonna be here next year
Yeah.
because I already knew I was beyond this, but I'm taking this year so I can help you properly transition for whomever's
I'm
coming in.
right. I'm actually helping. Like, I'm
They did
helping
not
you.
take me seriously, but I took myself seriously.
Yeah.
And what I realized, there's a whole lot more to the story, but for the sake of time, I'll tell you this. I realized that because of all of these experiences I'd had along the years,
Mhm.
every 2 years, every five or whatever,
Right. Right.
at one point I thought I was gonna be a lifer when I did 7 years. That was funny. So anyway, I realized that I needed and I wanted variety in my work, and I loved everything that I'd done. And I wanted an opportunity that would allow me to work in various industries as I had
Yeah.
and have fun, make meaningful impact. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I realized I didn't know it was entrepreneurship, Doc. I didn't know that. But I was at this fork in the road. And I remember us having this conversation, you and I, about this fork in the road.
Fork in
I
the
can
road.
go this traditional path, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll become, I'll move back to the executive level of leadership. That's a
Mm-hmm.
whole nother story for another day. Or I can take this path, one that I've never seen before, and build something really, really incredible
Mm.
that will change the world.
That will
I
change.
chose that path. And again, that was where my journey to entrepreneurship started.